Right, so we are going to take my web page here, my landing page, if you will, and we are going to change some of its CSS properties. So first of all, I don't want to go through CyberDuck to download my index file, and since I originally made it in Terminal, I don't have the file on my computer yet. So what I am going to do is I'm going to just copy and paste the source of this file into my editor. And the way we do that should be, one QuickTime Player. The way we do that is in Firefox. We go to Tools, and under Web Developer we can choose Inspector. And here we have this really handy framework that shows us what all the elements are. So when I mouse over, and this is our code, you recognize that we all wrote that first week of class. And when I mouse over these elements, it highlights what everything is. So when my mouse is over the HTML tag, it shows me that the HTML tag is the entire website, essentially, from beginning to end. Then when I mouse over the body, you see that there is actually a margin around the body. So the blue body has this yellow border around it, as well as a dashed border. So that's the CSS box being represented, the CSS box of the body. And now we're looking, I'm mousing over the H1 and the header, and we can see that there is the same kind of margin around H1, and it by default comes with a margin of a certain size. The paragraph, same thing. This unordered list, which contains all the elements, the individual elements of my list. So now the whole thing is highlighted, and now just the individual elements. So that's super handy. And here on the side, you can see the diagram again, and it even gives me numbers. No, it does not give me numbers, but it gives us the box layout. Very cool. Okay, so I am going to, well, I want to copy this, but it's not letting me. It's not letting me just highlight and copy, which is quite the pain. And I wonder if there's a way to copy it. There might not be. I don't see it. That's okay. My web page is so small that I can just copy it myself. So I'm gonna say create a new document, and it says here doc type HTML. Remember that you have to open and close your brackets. Then I will open and close the head, and open and close the body. Make some space for the content that will be inside of it, and move it forward, nest it, indent it. Okay, we're gonna say what the character set is, UTF-8. I believe that's the Roman language character set in Unicode, or Roman character, sorry, character set. Okay, Sophie's web page, open title and end title, and that's it. And then in the body, we have our H1. Okay, can I copy just this line. That would be super handy. Oh, I cannot. So this is done by the developers of Firefox to prevent people from copying other people's code. I'm sure there's a way around it, but I don't need to find it right now. Okay, we close our h1 tag, and then we have our paragraph. So just a review of that. And then finally we have our unordered list, which we're going to close right away. And it's full of list objects. And I believe there's 7 of them, maybe. HTML last week, CSS this week. What are the next ones? Raster graphics, vector graphics. Okay, we have our information. This is called index.html. I'm going to save it. All the colors happened. They all look good. So now I'm going to I'm going to drag and drop, so I'm going to close this to avoid confusion. And I'm going to just drag and drop this into Firefox. Here we are. We have a recreation of the website that we made last week. And you can see up here it says file and many forward slashes and user. So this is the address on this is my local address on my computer. So we're not looking at the website on the internet, we're looking at the local copy I just made. And we want to start changing the CSS. So CSS is a different markup language that sits on top of HTML. You could say, well, it's a different, it's a different language that sits within or on top of or next to HTML. And in our case, we're going to make what's called an embedded style sheet. So rather than making a separate file that this file references, we're going to put all of our code into this file. However, we are still going to keep it all in one place. So that's why it's called an embedded style sheet. It's still an entire sheet, or like conceptually it's an entire like page of code that is contained within its own borders, but within this sheet right here, or within this HTML code right here. And it is going to be in the head tag. I think after the meta tag is fine. And it's going to be inside of this tag called style. So here we can write straight CSS, which is written in a very different way than HTML is written. And the style here, like the same way that we say what character set is used for this page, we will also say that the style is text type or type text equals yes, it's not text type, it's simply type. Type equals text / CSS. There we go. Okay, so now we are going to start writing our CSS code. How exciting. Okay, so the way that we are going to start giving different elements to the code, well, actually, I'm going to end the video right here, and then we'll make a new one. So we're going to write our embedded CSS code in here. And of course, for now, this is just example.